Carlson being at Fox News, it's like the fiat to crypto bridge, or like the fiat institution or the old institution bridge to the new world of the internet age, the
Mhm.
information age. So yeah, because he was like yeah, he was employed and at the old legacy institution, but he was like very much of this kind of internet heterodox thinker, and yeah, and he was let go. So he was like, it's like I'm just kind of jokingly saying that the deep state went Overton whaling, like fishing for these like Overton whales ahead of the elections, the U.S. elections. So. Uh, and so they got Tucker. But but you probably need, instead of a deep state, you need like a deep network state, so something
Yes,
like
that's
like some kind of chat groups, and like yeah, people who are like networked together around the globe, and yeah.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Mtambo Desk Podcast. My name is Jakub Mtambo, and today I have the pleasure of sitting down with Jakub again, a co-founder of Se2 and an author of Wisdom Enterprising. Jakub just published another article on Balaji Srinivasan's new business model, the venture journalist or an angel influencer. Jakub, thank you for joining me again today.
Hi, Doug. It's great to see you again.
Yeah. Well, so Jakub, your article really struck a chord with me, especially the idea of an overtone well. It's such an interesting concept. Could you maybe explain a little bit more about what an overtone well is? I know we discussed it at some point, but yeah.
Yeah, so Balaji Srinivasan has this idea of angel influencer or a venture journalist. So it's like some kind of like effective left wing, right wing fusion. So like usually the left wing is understood as some kind of like zealous people who have, or creative people who have passion, like these activists for some kind of cause, and the more kind of like right wing are people mm, are into like effective execution or effective action of some kind of project, so they are like into like doing business and like getting things done. So but like Balaji talks about like that you need also a zeal, a passion for something, and also some kind of creative in expression. You need to know how to design things, and so it's also a kind of like maybe like a form and a substance kind of dichotomy or distinction. And so the effective kind of Hegelian synthesis is venture journalist or angel influencer. And it's also, as you said, a new type of business model because you are writing or you are creating content for the audience of one. So, like the next Mark Zuckerberg, the next Steve Jobs or Elon Musk, So you are writing content to inspire a founder of I don't know, a next billion, next unicorn or
Mhm.
100 billion US dollar startup that will change the world for better, that will spark some technological progress in a certain area, like the question is, why aren't there more such entrepreneurs as Elon Musk? Like he's like South African. He came to the US. He did like a couple of companies like PayPal, and then he went into like these like super hard tech, like yeah, hard tech, startups like
SpaceX.
SpaceX, yeah, and Tesla before, like revolutionizing the car industry, the EV, yeah, electric vehicle industry, and then revolutionizing the I don't know, making rockets with real launchable rockets, right? So or reusable rockets. So yeah, I mean this is the question of like how to find next such a founders. And one way how to do it is like with this kind of new business model, just like focusing not on clickbait and not on a median viewer or a reader of news, but like focusing on these like very kind of rare, long tail, niche kind of audience, yeah, of these next founders.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's like one idea. And so as you mentioned, like Overton whale, so it's like, you know, you have these crypto whales, the people who have like big positions, let's say in Bitcoin or some other cryptocurrency, and they can move the market.
Mm-hmm.
So if they like, I don't know, sell their position or buy, yeah, buy one crypto for another, or like, yeah, buy crypto with dollars, they can move the market because they're like really big. So therefore, the name whale, you know, so you have like crypto whale, or it can be like some big investor in fiat assets. But in crypto, you get this whale. You know, it's like it's quite it's very used term. So and then, but Balaji connects. The idea of an Overton window with a depth chart. So like with a market depth chart, like a V-shaped kind of depth chart, where you can see, like, visualize the order book of the market. Like, so they are the sell orders and the buy orders, and it's kind of looks like a V. And so you can actually visually see where the demand and supply are meeting and at what price. And you can see like there is an overhang of demand or of supply, and so you could kind of see like where the price will be moving, in the near future. And so
Yeah.
Balaji connects these two concepts. And so, like, when he says like things are getting political, it's like somebody is trying to move the Overton window. It's like placing a big buy order or sell order for a certain policy that was before kind of constant, and now it's becoming variable. So, yeah, and Overton well is like kind of like my term, like writing these daily Balajisms, which I think it's quite good for a type of venture journalist that is like really influential. So Eric Jorgensen, he has this he on a podcast with Balaji, he mentioned another term like creative capitalists for this kind of left-right fusion of creative and creative capitalists, something like that. So creative people and like business people or venture capitalists. So, yeah, Overton well, I think it's a good idea here. It's a good term, so I like it because it's mine. So like that, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a good term. So like Carlos Tucker could be like one of the Overton well, like the journalist from the Canadian.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So yeah, Tucker Carlson, right? Like, so he was kind of canceled by Fox, by Rupert Murdoch. I mean, it could be for some political reasons, could be, yeah, it's just hard to speculate. But he was a heterodox thinker who was actually quite popular with young Democrats. Like, so so, but it would be kind of strange to like let go of your like very popular host. But like he had like some heterodox views. He was criticizing also the GOP establishment and also Democrats. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
he had his unique views, and he was let go recently. And yeah, it was like definitely that's a good example of an Overton whale. I think Balaji himself with his bit signal tweet and his 1 million Bitcoin bet is another example of an Overton whale. And so it's like, it's something like an internet phenomenon that it's actually bridging into the or creating a bridge into the fiat world, like the old institutions. So like Tucker Carlson being at Fox News, it's like the fiat to crypto bridge, or like the fiat institution or the old institution bridge to the new world of the internet age, the information age. So because he was like he was employed and at the old legacy institution, but he was like very much of this kind of internet heterodox thinker, and and he was let go. So he was like, it's like just kind of jokingly saying that the deep state went Overton whaling, like fishing for these like Overton whales ahead of the elections, the U.S. elections. So. And so they got Tucker, but you probably need, instead of a deep state, you need like a deep network state, so
Yes.
like some kind of chat groups, and like people who are like networked together around the globe, and
Yeah, that's a good one, and I think Tucker is representing also the new model of citizen journalism, whereby like we are moving away from legacy or mainstream media to like individual based journalists.
Now when he's when he's like unemployed and he's on Twitter, then he's now a citizen journalist. That's true. That's true. But I think he had like 20 something million views on Twitter. So.
That's like how many? It's like 6 times number of the views he could get on Fox. So that's I think that was a very
but I think it's good. It's a good point. That it was like let's say 6 times the views on Fox, but it's also a bit different. The internet culture, it's a bit different from. It's like some kind of. When it's like the legacy or the prestige Fox News is not really a prestige kind of institution, but like at least they are like legacy institution. And so they are kind of, so it's also like quantity versus quality, but it's also like product versus distribution. But the downstream media, as Balaji calls them, because they are downstream of Twitter, they got so bad recently, like especially after COVID, and actually everybody saw like what they were doing during COVID, like how they were against masks and against vaccines, and then they were super pro masks and super pro vax, and they were quite selective, like depends on like if Trump was saying something, then they were saying the opposite thing because of tribalism. And then when Trump switched, then they again like they totally like flipped and started to say the opposite thing. So they're kind of the trust in media kind of like went vertical, but then like went off the cliff, so so it's true. It's kind of you're right. So but what I want to say, but like it's also but at least it used to be like it's like this crypto to fiat bridge, or this internet kind of culture to the normie culture kind of bridge is important, because often it's like it's true that like internet is upstream, and the internet culture is upstream of the downstream media, but like it's kind of good for like validation, like it's even in the downstream media, so it's like it means like it's important, or it kind of means that even the regular people get it. But it's even like, maybe just to mention, like I was doing this podcast with Juraj Bednar. He also like is active in this like the network state community here in Slovakia. And we had some meetups together, and he recorded a podcast about the network state and some Balaji's ideas with me a few months ago, like 2 months ago actually. And and my mom, who is on Telegram, like I'm on Telegram just recently because of BitSignal. I don't know, but like my mom sent me a YouTube link to actually a podcast with Juraj Bednar talking about the digital euro, like the CBDC or something. Just funny, on some like different podcasts. So I sent my mom like a podcast we did with Uri. So I was like, okay, but I know him. We did podcast together, and my mom is like, okay, I will listen to it. So, but it's funny, So
Wow,
it's even like the pensioners, the old people, kind of like they get now like this information. Often it's like. It's a lot of noise and not so much signal, what they are getting through their channels, like because they are kind of trusting everything they see on TV or on YouTube, which is kind of sad at times. But like this time it was like, okay, but she's sending me random links like all the time. Like my mom and I usually don't have time like to respond always, or to check what she's sending me. But like this was like, okay, I know this guy. We did a podcast about the network state. So it's interesting that even like these ideas about CBDCs, like the like old people, like my mom is in her 70s, so like
wow.
they're discussing it on Telegram. Imagine that. So that's the internet culture being upstream of the legacy media or the downstream media. But it's just like very interesting to observe that, okay, Twitter is upstream of the downstream media, but also like Telegram or some group chat apps is actually upstream of Twitter. We saw it with the Silicon Valley Bank, when the news hit Twitter, it was kind of too late to do anything with your money, so like all the action was happening on the group chats.
Maybe and then say maybe Nostal is also upstream of those group chats, or group chats are now downstream of Nostra, because now we are moving to a decentralized protocol.
Yeah, that's very true. It's like let's say Substack is built on top of a open protocol like email, So like Nostr is also built on top of an open protocol where you can just like move your public key and private key, right? You own your account, and you can move it to another provider, like another client, if you don't like the service of the it's
the current client.
It's like it's like email, right? So it's like open and global protocol. Yeah, it's great, and it's connected with Bitcoin Lightning. So
yeah, that's the interesting part.
Yeah, but you're right. It's a good point, because we hope that this future will come actually soon. I mean, Nostr is growing, and you want to have this kind of open and global protocols, not just like some closed services like Telegram, which are also they are not that secure concerning the privacy, I guess, of the conversations. So and then you have Signal that is more secure, sure, but generally like this kind of group chats, I think that's the future.
Okay. Let's go back to business model that we were discussing on the venture. The venture journalism and the angel influencer. It seems like this new business model is very different from the current clickbait, as you said, and content for the median person. But what do you think is driving this shift, in your opinion?
Right. So I think the internet itself is like turning constant into variables, as Balaji says, and it allows for this like very long tail kind of like podcasting or knowledge production or content creation. And basically, like before, it was easy for the old establishment to be for free speech, because like the regular person didn't have the distribution. of the elite media, so it was very expensive, prohibitively expensive to buy a TV license, like TV broadcasting license. So of course you are for free speech, but in fact what that meant was like you can be shouting under the bridge, or you can be shouting from a megaphone, or putting some posters, or maybe writing a blog that nobody would read. But like since social media, like you could go viral, and yeah, you could go viral, and it actually became much cheaper to host, to produce, and to share media. So you can now have like the vertical video. You can share it through multiple channels, multiple social media, from Instagram to Twitter. You can create these, like you have this like anchor content, like which is like, let's say, some long form podcast or long form article, and you can create like this bite sized kind of micro content, from it, and share it through various channels. And with the generative AI, you can create like the various like illustration, pictures, photos, graphics, and in the near future also videos. And so it means, and also with Chat GPT or GPT-4, you can also edit your article. And I don't know, I saw something like somebody was like writing something like really in a like some like kind of slang style, or almost like writing as if drunk, and it's like, yo, can you write, I don't know, it's just. And then he put a prompt, or they put a prompt on Chat GPT-4, I mean GPT-4, to write it in a like very scientific style, and and it produced like a whole paper out of the prompt that was like written like in a slang. It was just like so funny. So like if you put all these things together, like let's say high quality phones, like smartphones with good videos, cameras, or processors, and then all these services from Chat GPT to various social media, or like Twitter with Elon Musk, and yeah, and so like it's kind of the cost of producing content is going to zero. Yeah, I mean it's collapsing. And also like the quality content you can create with generative AI, and it means like the global talent all around the world. Everybody can become a citizen journalist, as you mentioned before, the corporate journalist versus citizen journalist. And so it means also like another article I wrote, and we could discuss later, is like the blue checks are becoming the new blue collar workers, because it's kind of disrupting them first, it's disrupting the legacy journalists first.
Yeah, actually, there's another article I came across also about will the AI also finish the programmer, or to make more programmer, everybody a programmer, So there's that question, like everybody can become a programmer, this because you have ChatGPT, or yeah, it can end programmer's job, because now the company will not have to hire any programmer, or will reduce the number of developers they have. Anyway.
I think it will, as you say, like I think it's also the same with like marketing people, with some like kind of people in logistics, and like event organizers. So I don't think like you can, it might reduce the number of people needed, or the size of the startup will shrink, like maybe even tenfold. So now you can have startups of like 2 or 3 co-founders that could be like 20 people before, as powerful as 20 people before. But I think it can't reduce like 100%, but it can maybe reduce like your workload by 70% or something like that. So it can make you quite powerful. And but you're right. And also like regarding coding, so it's making everyone a programmer. but it kind of means that you need to become, you couldn't become like really like a generalist, like like actually like an angel influencer or venture journalist, so you can get into content creation, but also like, let's say, like creating an MVP, and so you can be like a well-rounded person. But at the same time, it kind of also boosts people who are like very very narrow, like super specialist about something. So like a low level programmer, but in a meaning of like being close to the metal. But if you are like doing glue code, at least that's what the Replit Amjad Masad was discussing with Balaji. So if you are like this kind of medium skilled kind of programmer, then I think you will be disrupted. But if you are like super generalist, like some kind of like coder and investor and kind of like coder and entrepreneur, then I think you will be supercharged. And also if you are like very like low level, but in a meaning of metal, like, or very specialist programmer, then you will be also supercharged by AI.
Okay, I think that's a very good point. And
but
also,
for us, I think for us it's good to get into, after daily Balajisms, I think we have to do the Replit 100 days of code challenge, next. I think that's
actually I already created an account there, so yeah.
I have an account there as well, but we just
I
have to
haven't do
start doing
anything.
the daily action.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think you made a great point, and really about about the event, the business model we were talking about, and it's really optimistic view of the future. But as you come up to the end of this episode, what about the risk of echo chambers and confirmation bias?
Right. I mean, yeah, it's a good question, and I think I mean, it's good to have some kind of like a variety of open discussions with like various kind of tribes, memetic tribes, various groups that kind of keep you in check. And a kind of culture around it, so it's not just about, let's say, some kind of leader and the followers who are like agreeing with you or with what you are saying. And I think it's also, I mean, it's like group chats, right? Or discussions, and even like to follow, let's say, many sides of the debate. I don't think there are only two sides. At least you have like three tribes in the US. It could be like the blue tribe, red tribe, and a gray tribe, or purple tribe, or orange tribe, like the tech progressive kind of people. But this could be thought as or viewed as kind of meta tribes, as like kind of like big political or kind of tribes. But then you have like many like even hundreds today, like of these like memetic tribes. So even like, let's say, within crypto, you have like Bitcoin maximalists, you have like Web3 people, then you have like various kind of factions there and fractions, like people into Solana, into Ethereum, into I don't know,
NFTs.
NFTs, and these and that, and
now it's people who are into DAO and network state,
now the network state. You have these Polkadot people, and even Jur. We were like submitting a proposal, like as Wazesha, right? To discussing with them, and so they have like this NFT passport, right? Or like kind of like a passport product that they're developing. Crypto passport, it could be, and also they're kind of like going in this like network state direction, and trying to support startup societies. So it's great that we could I mean, we could discuss with them.
And maybe just to mention, since you mentioned Jura, just to tell our viewers, in our next episode or podcast soon on maybe May. In this month, we'll be having the founder of Jua also talking with us here on this podcast. So maybe they can stay tuned.
Cool.
Yeah.
It's a nice plug, Duke.
Yeah. Anyway, so absolutely, I agree with your point, and it's very important for us as consumer and creators of media to be aware of these issues and work towards a more balanced and informed media landscape. So, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts and insight, Jakub.
Thank you, Duke. See you soon.
Well, that brings us to the end of this episode. If you enjoyed listening to Mtambo Desk podcast, don't forget to subscribe, give this episode a thumbs up, and be sure to come back next week for another episode. Until then, this is Duke Mtambo, and don't forget to do good always.